Yo, yo, it's Chris Hall,
This is Casey Morris.
and this is Smoking at the Movies. What's going on, bro?
Sheesh, long day on the boat today. It's October.
The first cold day.
Yeah, so it's the first cold day, and it's time for scary movies.
Yep, and we checked out Creep the other day, starring, I always forget this guy's name because I watched The League, and it's Pete from The League. He's going to be that forever. But let me find this guy's name.
Yeah, I've
real
never
quick.
seen the guy before. He was an interesting character for sure.
And I think that, like, I've only seen him play comedy, so, like, seeing him do...
I think that was comedy.
A lot of it was comedy, but it was, like, because it was in a real-world setting, if anybody were that unsettled, like, yo, that's what made it scary for me. But I'm going to read a synopsis real quick, and then we'll go into our favorite parts of the movie. When a videographer answers an advert of the website Craigslist for a one-day job in a remote mountain town to video the last messages of a dying man, the job takes a strange turn when the last message gets darker and darker. The videographer continues to see the job through, but when it is time to leave, he is unable to find his keys, and when he receives a strange phone call, he finds his client is not at all what he initially seemed to be. So, first, what were your first impressions of the movie?
When I watch a scary movie, one of the first things I look for is to find out, do I actually think that I could be fooled in this scenario? You know, like, is it realistic enough to where this could actually happen? And I've found out that a lot of the times it's not, and that's what makes a horror movie corny, is when you it's just not believable. Like, this could never happen to me. But Creep, I could see happening. So at first, it was really funny, like all the little jokes and things like that. Like when he first got there and he didn't answer the door and then ran up on the car and scared him.
Yeah, that was a really, like, I didn't know what to think at first. Like, the first 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm either going to love this shit or really hate it. Like, I'm going to be sitting through this. Because I couldn't tell. Yeah, I think that was an asset to the character because even though it was like, if you saw the trailer, you know it's a horror film, but still, you're like, how do we get to, like, the weird shit?
Exactly. So that's the thing, and it keeps you curious. It keeps you, like, on the hanging, like, because you know it's gonna, some fucked up shit is gonna happen, but you're like, when, where, and how does it get there? Mm-hmm. And so you're constantly like, how is it gonna lead? Like, why was one of the first things that he said, "Give me a hug"? That's gonna be normal by the end of the night.
I think, and I was thinking about this during the whole course of the movie, all of those things were just used to break that guy's, like, interpersonal, like, his cold, like, not cold exterior, but, like, when you meet someone and they're not your friend.
Right.
You know, he was trying to establish a connection with this dude so that later he could manipulate him.
Right. So depending on, to be honest, I think I would have stayed for a while.
Really?
He gave me $1,000 up front, right, or like whatever cash up front, and then you start filming. First thing you do. He came from a run, right? So the first thing they did was to go get in a bath.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bath scene goes on for a long time.
I mean, I'm fine with that though. Like, I have no problem with the fact that he got naked and gets into, like, sure, whatever, dude. You paid me. I'm filming this for your kid. It wasn't weird to me at all. And then, like, when he tries to kill himself, I might have just let him.
Wait.
Remember when he goes under the water? I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, are you okay?" And then he scares me. Like, dude, if this is what you want, I'm paid to communicate the message that you want for your son.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not gonna be the one that's getting scared too. So maybe if you want to, like, jump up and, like, scare the screen, so whoever's watching it gets scared. Okay, that's fine. Do your thing. Play a joke on your kid. I'll let you die, nigga. I don't care.
Damn, that's cold blooded, but I can see that.
Yeah.
And
so I would have stayed past that. Then what? They go outside and go on an adventure. And then it gets a little bit fucking weird.
And I like something that you brought up is the next thing in my notes. So, like, they go out. So, okay, let's talk about when they go out. So he said, we're gonna go find the, like, fountain of youth. That was the thing, remember? And then he just starts running off a couple times. And like, that was unsettling.
Yeah, that's when it got weird for me, is when this nigga sprints the fuck away. And I'm like, nah. Nigga, why are you running?
After he faked like he heard something.
He's like, oh, shit, do you hear that? And then he just starts running. I'm like, hold on, player, like, I'm not following you into the woods. So at that point, I would have turned back and maybe gone to wait in my car.
Mm-hmm. Right. I didn't understand why he followed him.
But I still wouldn't have left. If I'm on a paid job, like I'm putting myself in the actual scenario and imagining that I take pride in my work and I want to do a good job and I want to get more paid jobs, and maybe I believe that this guy is recording a video for his dead or his unborn child, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe I want to do a good job, but I'm not going to chase you through the woods. So you just sprint off into the woods. I'm going to call your name a little bit, but then I'm going to get creeped out, like the name of the movie. And so they did a great job with the title and then having that creepiness live throughout the movie. But I would have walked back to the car at that point. But I like the movie because it's believable. I would have stayed for a lot of it.
See, I kept thinking a lot that like the protagonist, like the videographer, he's a little bitch. Like he even at some points like, do you know, were you paying attention? I'm kind of hungry. I'm like, you're like in your mid-30s. Like you should have gone back to your car. Like just like you said, it's like that was the one part that I'm like, come on, bro. But I understand that for plot he had to keep going.
Right. He definitely was a little pussy.
But then
I definitely could beat that guy's ass.
He got smart right towards the end. He's like, I need to dip.
Did he?
No, he didn't get to leave, but he started trying to leave.
So remind me of how that. We come back from our adventure at Heart Circle,
and then he's like, I'm ready to go right now. Peace. And he's like, have one drink with me, one glass of whiskey. And if you remember, like I was looking, and when he cheers him, Pete from the league, like the creep, doesn't drink the whiskey.
Right.
At first. And the other guy drinks the whiskey and he's like, all right. Like, and then he gets right up. Nigga is like, that's when he fucking starts behaving like a regular human being. He's like, it's time to go. And then he can't find his keys. So like that's
right.
Like, and then you should stay here. I've got so many rooms. And then it starts getting really creepy.
Right, but I mean, it's still not that. I mean, yeah, unless I actually lost my keys, okay. But if I know that you stole them, why wouldn't old boy just be like, nah? Can I check run your pockets?
Yeah, instead of drugging him.
Like let's get a little serious. I want to look you in your eyes. But that's when Casey gets a little
right. But for this like. Not diminutive, but like he's not an aggressive white dude. Like that wasn't really his character. But he decided to drug the guy instead of confronting him. That I thought was weird. But because he's getting killed. I mean, because at that point we assume he's going to be getting killed.
Oh yeah.
Like that was a weird thing.
So then it gets a little bit unbelievable because he drugs the guy. But then it's almost like the sleep dude is still in control, right? Because every time he's like about to take the keys out of the sleep guy's pocket, the sleep guy, the creep, will like flinch or like wake up, and then finally when he got the sister on the phone,
when he gets his phone back, because we didn't realize that the guy
had his phone too.
Right.
So we skipped one of the most important parts before. The drugging is when he was like,
he tells him about when he raped his wife.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you kind of jumped right into it, but yeah, he like his wife is fucking. He goes on his wife's browser history on her computer and finds a bunch of animal porn, and he's super mad about it, right? And he addresses her, why the fuck do you have animal porn? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And she denies it. I don't have animal porn.
Even the way he told that story was weird.
Yeah.
Our internet, browser history, our internet got slow. So
Yeah. So he checked. So then one night he waits till she's asleep, leaves the house, goes to buy a werewolf mask, breaks into the house, ties up his wife, and fucks her.
And she's into it.
And she had the best night of her life.
I mean...
Then he escapes and comes back and acts like he doesn't know what happened and says, hey, honey, how was your night? And she doesn't mention it. So it's almost like she hopes he doesn't even know. So now it's worse because it's like she cheated and lied about it.
I mean, it's even more crazy when you figure out the truth. Like when he gets like, so like now that you brought that back up, like that was right before he got drugged. And he finds his phone and it starts going off because people have been trying to get a hold of him. So he calls the guy's who he thinks he's calling the guy's wife.
No, I think he takes the guy's phone. And the wife, quote unquote, calls.
That's right. So,
but he turns out, and then the wife is like, "Hey, Drew, you need to get out of that house right now. My brother has problems."
So that was his phone. That wasn't the guy. See, I missed that.
That was the creep's phone.
So that makes sense because I was like, how did he have the wife's phone number?
Yeah, so that was the creep's phone.
That shit was funny because nigga, she got so weird on the phone.
And he was a pussy.
Super.
He was like, "Am I in danger? Am I in danger?" Yes, nigga.
You were in danger when the nigga was running towards the sewage and got you to dip in it. Oh, we should mention the goddamn the fountain of youth was sewage water, and
was that really?
That was Pete Cassidy. You ain't getting no black people to do this.
Yeah, we're not doing that at all.
No. They fucking, and in my notes I have they baptized each other. And
oh, they did.
Yeah. And the sewage water looks clean as fuck. So I think that was funny because it was a B movie. They're not about to recreate that with CGI.
Yeah, that was some weirdo shit.
And
so long story short, I think one of the most interesting parts was the fact that the cameraman got to leave eventually. And he kept him on a string.
Hold on one second. I got to go back to something real quick that we missed that you pointed out. So he mentions that he has a jacket in his spare room.
Right.
And he goes to the spare room, and then you instantly are like, "Don't open it, nigga. It's a goddamn shower curtain instead of a conventional closet door."
Yeah, who the fuck has a shower curtain as a closet door? Get the fuck out of here. I'm not opening a weird-ass shower curtain to find out what's behind it. Who opens a shower curtain unless it's yours or you're in a hotel by yourself? Showers are a scary place and we all know it. Everybody has washed their face before and had to close their fucking eyes. And yo ass gets nervous too. What if somebody burst in here right now and my eyes are closed and there's soap all on my face and my nuts are out?
That's an interesting take. I just thought it was like, I didn't even, because the jump scare happened so quickly, yo, that shit was...
For me, I just have an interesting relationship with showers. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm aware of my surroundings. Let's say that. So at all times, I like to believe that I know what's around me, what's going on, and that I'm ready to be in control if I need to. But the two worst times that for me, in my mind, to get caught up would be in the middle of a shit.
So you're talking, wait, I don't know why that's hilarious. I mean,
or in the shower. If you caught me, so I shit with my gun a lot. Because if a nigga ran in and busted in the house and I'm shitting,
no one can ever say that they keep the thing on them more than you.
And I'm ready to start shooting so I don't even have to get up to fight.
You see a shower curtain and you're just like PTSD. From incidents that have not occurred.
Right, and then so also the second worst time for me to get caught up is when I'm in the shower, butt dang ass naked, right, and wet, and soaped up, nigga. And then on top of that, when you have soap on your face and your eyes are closed, nigga, now that's the most vulnerable time in Casey's life. If you want to rob Casey, catch me in the shower with soap on my face.
That's crazy that you got like that. Seeing the shower curtain reminded you of all of that. But that mask that he tried to pass off as a childhood, some family shit.
And then the first time he put the mask on, I would have got a little angry.
Right?
Like, can you take that shit off? Cause I'm not liking that.
So right before he gets out, the guy confronts him. Not confronts him. He just stands by the door. Like at this point, it's like the jig is up. Like. We both know why we're here. And he asked, him, "Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let me leave?" And the guy shakes his head.
So this is the suspense. This is how it happens, right? He was on the phone with the sister, who we thought was the wife, but it actually turns out to be the creep's sister. And she's telling him, get the fuck out of the house, get the fuck out of the house. And then he goes back in the room, and the nigga disappeared.
That's right. He was passed out, and then he's
gone.
Oh,
and then he's looking around the fucking house. Oh, no. Then the doors open, and he walks outside, and then the dude runs up on him, sprints.
Oh, yeah.
And then he starts telling him he's like, we all die.
Oh, yeah. No,
we
and then he
all
starts crying. But then
die.
he gets sad and starts crying.
And then he sprints into the fucking house and disappears downstairs. Now we follow him downstairs, and he's sitting in front of the fucking door, standing in front of the door with a werewolf mask on, just staring at you. And the camera dude is like, can I please leave the house, man? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I just want to go home. And the nigga starts growling. Like, you're not going anywhere type shit. That was some creepy shit. That's when Casey, I have a concealed carry permit. I would have been carrying this whole time, so I would have felt a little bit more safe. And I just would have pulled out and shot him in his fucking house right then and there.
Well, yeah, like because he's threatening you.
Through a werewolf mask. And when I call them, I'm be like, yo, this nigga threatened me in a werewolf mask, and I fired on his head, dog.
So throughout this movie, something I'm thinking about is that this videographer has a fetish. He has to. All of the pseudo gay shit that they were doing, it was all pretty weird. I mean, some of it wasn't like dangerous or like aggressively creepy at first, but it was still all of it weird. You know, like most people are walking out of that place within the first 5 minutes.
Well, no, because like I said, that's what kept me in is because I'm like, how does it actually get creepy? Mm-hmm. And it gets creepy real fast when they get back from the little adventure and it's dark and he's standing at the top of the stairs and all you see is a silhouette. And he's like, come in for another drink, please. I'd love to have a drink with you.
Yo.
Charles, please come here so I can have a drink with you.
So when he's talking like that, right before the whole like...
Come in, please.
God damn. Nick calls my line like that. We got problems.
Yeah.
But shit. So remember when he offers him money, and he mentions that he's like older than him, and I wrote a note like, the niggas look like the same age. They both look like they could be between 31 and 50.
And then the cameraman was the bigger of the two.
Yeah, he could have if he was about it, cleaned that dude's clock.
Exactly.
So he gets away and like it goes to black. He confronts guy, and then the camera blacks out or whatever. And so you don't know what happened.
When the werewolf is standing in front of the door, he just looks at him, and then all of a sudden he just starts running at the dude. Up. And then everything goes black, and then it wakes up like 2 months later. Or like 2 weeks later, right?
It's like 2 weeks later, and the camera is facing a TV, and then you see Pete from the fucking league dragging... the creep dragging bodies. I mean, what we would assume is someone's bodies chopped up in plastic bags and like digging a grave, and the guy's narrating it, but he's way too calm. So I guess this means that he's gonna like kill me and chop. Like yes, he's gonna kill you and chop your ass up. And so he starts filming himself at night, and that's when shit gets really, really weird.
He starts getting videos. I'm not...
And he thinks, and here's where it got crazy. When, like, he hears a knock, and he's like, goddamn raccoons. And I'm like in my notes, I'm like, goddamn raccoons, dash. Really, nigga? Like, given all that's happened, everything I hit...
Well, he went around so there was
This is before that point.
There was a big knock, and then wasn't the creep standing outside the front door?
There was, like... He came over a couple times, but when I wrote that note was one of the times that he didn't that he wasn't. There wasn't more to the scene. It was like, boom, and then the next day.
Right.
Then when he came back to the house, that shit.
Man, the creep started stalking him. So now he's sending videos of fucking craziness and coming all in the house and filming this nigga's face.
He picks up his video camera. Well, I think the craziest point in the whole film is when he picks up this nigga's video camera and zooms it in.
Vulnerable.
And so like just all that implies, and then he cuts a lock of his hair on some cult shit. Yo, that then you know at that point like that dude's gonna die.
Yeah, like he's clearly not ready. He's not about the action.
The guy sends him a box, and in the box there's a stuffed doll, wolf, a knife, and that video where he threatens him again. And then he starts telling this crazy story about how he saw a killer in dude's eyes, but he saw a baby killer, and that's what the wolf was supposed to symbolize. And then the knife, and of course that's when dude comes back, and he's using the knife that the dude who's going to kill him dropped off at the crib. It was just so weird. Like, and then you see how crazy he's being played, and when he's standing at the door watching this guy,
Sheesh.
And hold on.
This is why I grew up watching scary movies. This is why I carry guns. I'm not playing with these niggas, man.
Can we talk about the common sense check real quick? When he's walking out with the knife, talking about, is anyone here? If you think someone's in your house, you're not gonna call out.
No, I do. What? But I call out aggressively though. I call out like, "Hey, motherfucker! I swear to God, if you in here, I'm about to kill your ass." So what do you do when if you think you hear somebody in the house? Are you gonna call out, or are you gonna just be quiet and
I'm trying to go hurt that person, so I don't want them to know where I'm at. I've seen too many movies where people like call out their location, so that whoever is there, like if there is someone there to harm them, they can just find them because this motherfucker is yelling.
So you're more like Metal Gear Solid on them.
Oh hell yeah, Solid Snake, nigga. Where's the box at? Like I'm trying to live, and I'm not trying to have a fist fight in the dark. And I feel like if I'm using a knife, go for the Achilles tendon, man. Like, I was just watching American Horror Story, and they got both of this guy's tendons. That would be me. Bleed out.
Yeah.
Call the police. Like, if somebody's there to goddamn do the damn thing and do me in.
I'm just getting a flashlight on my strap, man, and calling folks out.
You know what?
Some noise, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm about to shoot, nigga. I'm just letting you know now."
You need a flashlight, not a laser, because you don't want to pop. You don't want to accidentally pop me or somebody.
Yeah,
else.
flashlight.
But lastly, I think what's crazy is how the videographer gave in and like allowed himself to be manipulated the last time when the guy sent him the video, like right before the movie's about to end.
And he was like, "I need a friend."
He's like, "I need a friend," and I'm all like, "What? Fuck." And this after he called the police. The police can't do anything because he doesn't know where this guy lives. He has no information connecting him to this guy, so he can't find him, and the cops can't help him.
Right.
And then he decides to meet this guy out at a lake, and he does the most 2018 shit of all time. He goes out. He puts a camera in the car, and then he goes to sit on the bench. So you see him in the camera frame, and then he just sits on his phone, staring out. And then the creep comes up with the goddamn mask that he named Peach Fuzz, that's creepy all by his goddamn self. It's Peach Fuzz. That sounds like pubic shit to me. Like
right.
It just sounds pedophilia.
And then Peach Fuzz is just
cracks him with the motherfucker.
Creepily walking up behind him for like 5 minutes, just standing right behind him.
Right, and then
finally like cracks him like 2 or 3 times, and then comes and scares us one more time. He like pops up on the camera like, "Ta-da!"
Shout out like the sound effects because you actually heard the quack
right
when he brought that axe down.
Right.
And then like as the movie ends, we see that it's the creep watching that.
Right. And he has a bunch of videos. And
that's the twist ending, is that he's like, "You're my favorite." And then you're like, "Wait, what do you mean?" He's like, "Of them all." And then he goes and like puts the DVD away, and you see that it goes back to VHS. He's been doing this for a long time.
Right.
And it ends with him calling another Craigslist person to invite them up to
film
heaven.
him. Yeah. Right. But that's what makes it realistic to me, is the fact that he does this a lot, and he did let the guy go. And then continued to play with the mind. Yeah. So it's like, wow. It's just I think it was a brilliant horror movie. I was truly terrified a lot of the times, or like at least scared for him. But I thought it was hilarious how the nigga was always like popping up and scaring niggas and shit, and like.
Yeah.
I thought he was like weirdly bipolar.
Yeah, like the scare in the forest.
Yeah,
he's just like, you just had a near-death experience. Wasn't that great? And like we're thinking like, no, like that was not great. So I got a question for you, brother. Out of 5, how many fire emojis are you gonna drop on this bitch?
I'll give it 4.
4?
Or like a 3.8.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was thinking closer to 3.5. You know what? Fuck it. I gotta give it the full 4 because it stuck the landing. One of the reasons that like the movie took me out of like one part that took me out of it was the videographer had a pussy personality, and there were so many times that he was super oblivious to like obvious shit in his surroundings.
But I've met people like that now, so it's more realistic. Like I know people like that in real life.
Yeah, I know some people that walk. Yeah.
So yeah, I give it a 3.8. I will like a 4, like you said, because I agree. Coming to an incredible ending to a movie like that is rare. For one, you don't often just have a great ending to a horror movie. Most of the time, it's just like, hey, everybody's dead or whatever, or like the guys got away or one person got away,
or Taye Diggs lives.
Yeah, something random. And also, I love the fact the movie was an hour and 15 minutes long.
Yeah,
I hate when movies have that 2 extra scenes that you didn't need.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, get the like.
So I gather that you're not gonna watch Blade Runner with me. So the new Blade Runner is like damn near 4 hours in running time.
I'll watch the shit, but like as long as I don't want to have just scenes that shouldn't be there. If I know the scene, I'm not a fucking film editor, and if I know the scenes that shouldn't be there, then they shouldn't have fucking been there. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody should have noticed that. Or maybe it's just deeper than I realize. It's that like they needed that scene for the backstory of the book and the.
Well, what you're talking about right now is, I think, one of the hardest things with all these comic book films. Like why it fucks up the DC films and why it makes the Marvel ones better is because the DC films worry about what they're presenting, so they cut and chop so much of the final product before we see it.
Right.
And with Marvel, there's so much extra, and as they're changing their story, they'll include and not include scenes.
Right. Yeah, I think Marvel is fire. What horror movies do you think you're looking forward? Is Venom like a real horror movie, or is it like a superhero movie?
Well, I heard that shit's like an unintentional comedy, for real. No, for real. Like I heard that like there are points where like people were laughing in the theater,
right?
And like they weren't supposed to be funny,
right?
I love Tom Hardy. I don't want to be disappointed. But I was gonna say, to close out, let's talk about some films we're excited about in the next 6 months.
Okay. What's fuck? I need to. Oh, here. Let me pull up a list really quick so I can tell you.
Because I know Halloween's dropping.
I'm super excited about Halloween, even though ain't nobody scared of that nigga anymore. What's his name? Michael Myers. I'll beat Michael Myers' ass.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time, but I think that the way that they're presenting this movie, like, is a more real world take. Like the one that Busta Rhymes was trying to do with that reality TV show and like streaming and shit.
Yeah,
that shit was funny.
That was, and it was actually really dope too.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that one, but like that shit was funny because it had like, that they were getting deep in sequels because they had the like sex scenes and titties,
right,
and Busta Rhymes.
Right.
H2O is, I think, the most fire one.
H2O was dope. I like the originals as well, and like you said, they're like the newest one is just gonna go straight from the original, which is really dope. I kind of think I like that idea.
And the Rob Zombie ones were so good, like Halloween 1 and 2, because they had that wrestler, the Great Khali, play Jason. So like, when Jason's 8 feet tall, and like when he's not opening a door, he's running through a wall.
Right.
That was crazy.
So let's talk about it. What are we? I know what we're both most excited about. Go ahead and say it.
I mean, next year, right around my birthday, Avengers 5, whatever that's going to be called.
Fuck that.
Black
Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
nigga, that's right. Coming 2019.
So long.
It's coming 2019, and it's fucking October right now. Time flies. It's about to be November, December. Boom.
6 episodes.
Okay, but they're gonna be 6 movies. It better be 6 fucking movies.
And I need post-credit sequences for every single episode. Like.
So yeah, so that's what we're most excited for, and that's what. Nigga, that's when this is about to pop off because niggas is gonna be doing 3-hour episodes just talking about the first episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, bruh. I cannot wait to start breaking down like that. And whenever Westworld comes back, but Westworld's harder to follow. Bro.
Yeah, Westworld I might be a little bit done with.
They didn't stick the landing with that ending last.
And that's the thing. It's very hard to stick the landing, and that's what really makes a great movie. You know?
There were way too many, like, I don't know. I liked the idea of the show and the fact that you get to see all these different worlds. But man, yeah, Westworld got way too complicated, bro.
Yeah, and then now there's like 8 different
You
worlds.
could tell that they were trying to have this profound ending to the movie.
Yeah, and then the first season I was so disappointed when they fucking the maze and finding out your true consciousness, and it was just
Yeah.
a scalp with a maze on it.
I wasn't feeling that either.
I'm like, nigga, we've been waiting to see what the maze is this whole fucking time, and it's nothing.
So, another movie I was just thinking about is Bumblebee.
Fuck is Bumble? Oh, is that Transformers?
Yeah. And I was thinking about that because I don't like the Transformers movies, but I like the Transformers.
Right, I agree.
And
I would have to agree.
Like, these look the closest, like, the Transformers designs look the closest to, like, the 80s G1 Transformers. I was like, that show was before my time, but just the aesthetic. Like, it's like people that like Dragon Ball Z art.
So what
Watch
else?
Dragon Ball Z.
What else are you most excited for? I just found it, and nigga, this is another one we both should be very excited for. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. That comes out November 16th. That's like a month away.
That'd be cool. I'm like,
That's super dope. I want to see that.
I'm
It's Harry Potter continued. It's Grindelwald.
And
Backstory.
Dumbledore's in it. I like
Dumbledore. You know. So that could be really dope. I've never made it through the first one.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm like lightweight excited for that one because the first one was good, but it's
No, the first one was trash. I never have finished the five. Every single time I've tried to watch the first one, I fell asleep.
that's the thing. So you're excited for the second one? It's gonna be more
Because it's going to be more Grendel. The first one was
Grindelwald
literally
at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the first one was a bunch of like, let's catch these animals.
There wasn't enough good and evil.
Yeah, now we're about to get back into the story of Harry Potter and
Yeah.
like what preceded him and like what led up to him.
Yeah.
So before we are just this dude who made the book of animals. Good for you, nigga. Like, I've fallen asleep every single time. It's trash.
Yep.
But I think the second one has potential to be the better
With that
one
plot,
of the two.
I agree.
Just like the Harry Potter movies, all like as far as sequels go, those consecutively got better and better and better. Right?
Yes, but the first two are two of my favorites because that Dumbledore, that dude was just the best. I just remember watching that actor left an impression on me growing up as a movie watcher and like somebody that loves movies, and he was super like. Well, the reason why he seemed like an ancient wizard was because that nigga was an ancient wizard in real life, and he died like soon after the second one came out.
Right, and the one thing I do hate about Harry Potter is the fact that nigga Harry Potter is so trash at magic.
And he hangs out with a ginger for like 10 years.
But it's like, reason. Okay, whatever that. But it's like every single other wizard was great. Nigga, even Snape was making up his own spells while he was in school.
Well, because Harry Potter was a terrible student. If you think about it, he only got through things with willpower.
So then why did they have that nigga teaching a class like he was some defensive against the dark arts beast? So Bumblebee's in December 21st.
Okay. That'll be cool.
That's coming out in a couple months. I'm going through everything that's coming out.
Black Klansman, we still got to see.
Holmes and Watson, that comes out December 28th.
Who's in that?
Sherlock Holmes. Oh, Holmes and Watson. Get the fuck out of here. It looks like a Sherlock Holmes parody with these two guys, Will Ferrell and...
Oh, I'm watching that shit. I love them. You didn't love Step Brothers? That shit is one of the best movies of all time, my nigga.
Yeah,
Talladega Nights?
I've never seen Talladega Nights.
What? Oh my god. Talladega Night.
This should be really good. Holmes and Watson with these two guys. That could be really cool.
I didn't know that was coming out. I know Spider-Man Far From Home.
Eli, like the Book of Eli, January 14th.
It's just called Eli?
The follow-up.
What? That first one, nothing happened in that. So basically, the nigga walks for half the movie, finds a stash of vitamin water.
Oh, never mind. It's Eli, 2019. It's a horror film. A boy receiving treatment for his autoimmune disorder discovers that the house he's living in isn't as safe as he thought.
Whack. Pass.
Sounds weird.
Yep. Definitely pass on that one.
Fuck you, Eli.
I think what I'm most excited about above all is Avengers 5. I can't wait to see what they do with those. And Black Panther 2, because breaking news.
I'm confused as why they said Avengers 4 was a cliffhanger. It's just like, the nigga won.
Because you have to see how they wrap up the story. Like, There's not like it's what happens next. You know, like Marvel movies are gonna continue for another 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, so like
For
that's
me,
why it's a
I feel like Thanos won, and I don't care what happens next. He won. He beat y'all. And if you just bring everybody back to life, then what's the point of all this shit? Then
They're
you can
not.
just let him win and then bring him back to life again. And then, so what's the point? You know. So for me, it's like finally in a superhero movie, the evil nigga won, and I'm slick leaving it at that, man. For me, I'm not saying it. I'm sure I'll go see the next one because I like graphics and blah blah blah. But it's like he killed half the fucking everybody. Period. And that's what he wanted, and he got what he wanted. And if y'all like reverse it, it's like, oh, big whoop. I don't know. I wouldn't be that impressed because he already killed these niggas, man.
He's supposedly not gonna be the villain. I think what's interesting is because
So they're just gonna go on to somebody new?
well, because I think that what they're gonna do is they made a movie. They made two. They put the first one out. It did really well, and then people started. Then the world blew up, and they realized how much pressure that they put on themselves again, and so they brought them back for reshoots, like $100 million reshoots. And so now I think they're adding different elements that'll help, because that's just the idea of how big a big a movie that is to film and like get right as far as story, because they have to tie up so much shit. Not just what happened in Avengers 1, 2, and 3, but like all them fucking solo films.
I feel like that's easy with this. I'm not easy, but like they must have whole teams of writers that are tying up scripts for them. So all they have to do is get the script,
But
tie up the story. Like there's like 150 niggas just like you who knows everything about Marvel, all in a room. Like, all right, let's get the script right.
but there are a million niggas who know about Marvel, but there aren't a million great Marvel writers. You know?
Well, yeah, but they clearly, I mean, they have the budget to get all the good writers in the room, and then all the niggas who know all the storylines, and then it's not like it's much work for them. They just pay a bunch of niggas in the room to figure it out, tie up all the storylines. You know what I'm saying? The execs and the directors aren't worried about that shit. They're worried about getting the scene shot right, and maybe editing the script some. But they've got a fucking team of nerds. I guarantee it. I put my life on it. That just make sure all the storylines match up and shit. So they don't have to worry about that. But you're right. I mean, still, budget for shooting a movie like that and like having the set and the actors and getting Samuel L. Jackson to fly out and whoever the nigga who Tony Stark is and
Robert Downey Jr.
yeah. These are all fucking A-list. So getting all these people in a room on their busy schedules for reshoots, of course, like you said, that's hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think tying up the storylines is hard when you.
Well, it's hard when you have to set up the next 10 years also, and they just got all the Fox properties. So now they have to close out, they have to somehow bring back some of the bankable characters like
Right.
Spider-Man and Black Panther, leave some dead to.
Well, it's hard. It's hard for
and
whatever team has to do that, but there's just a team of fat nerd niggas who are just sitting in a dark room right now. Just probably not even a dark room, probably an awesome room. Probably the most beautiful office space.
I was about to say.
With like, I've been in offices recently that have like beer, like not beer, coffee on tap and shit. Like they probably have all of the amenities, and they just live together. And they're like, let's plot on the next 10 years and pitch things to the CEO or whatever. And then the board of directors hears and they're like, we like that one, or you know, whatever. So yeah, I guess it is a difficult process, but only for those people who it's relevant to. Like. Everybody's not working on that shit.
Well, no. Like, that's why, like, niggas get producer credits, and they literally just show up to me and say, you know what, I think that his outfit should be green instead of blue.
Right. Because this ties it back to the comic, and we can do this in the future.
Exactly.
All right, so, but I mean, all the cool shit, I'm sad about Walking Dead. Because you were telling me about all this cool shit that happened in the comics that they're not going to do in real life, and it's like, that's trash.
I still read the comic and shit, and, like, they just found, like, the closest thing to this thing. So, like, remember, like, Alexander? Thanks for checking out What's Smoking at the Movies. We'll be dropping new content, new reviews, and new smoke every week. Y'all take it easy.